the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. What is up, my friends? This is an emergency Flippin Bats podcast because the greatest player of all time just threw a complete game shutout. Shohei Ohtani on the mound today, right after we wrapped up filming a Thursday show and Friday show. Literally right after it, completes the complete game shutout, meaning I needed to come on here and talk about what we just saw, because I mean this. This is the greatest player that we have ever seen throwing a complete game shutout, giving up just one hit on the mound. He had never thrown a pitch in the ninth inning in his Major League Baseball career until today. And it's just the third time this season that an MLB pitcher has gone 9 innings and allowed no more than one hit. It was a remarkable performance. It was unbelievable. By the way, this guy that threw a complete game one-hitter also leads all of Major League Baseball in OPS, in slugging percentage, in home runs, in triples, in batting average against on the mound. We just saw a pitcher dominate and do something on the mound this year that only 3 pitchers have done, while also leading baseball in all of those categories and leading baseball in home runs. It's remarkable. Now, he did throw 13 complete games in Japan. This is not his first ever complete game. Threw 13 complete games in Japan, 7 of those being shutouts. But it's the first time in Major League Baseball that he has done so, and the first time that he's even thrown a pitch in the 9th inning. In fact, when Shohei took the mound in the 9th, it was on the road. It was in Detroit against the Tigers at Comerica Park. When he took the mound for the 9th inning, Tigers fans went wild and gave him quite the ovation taking the mound, because who doesn't love Shohei? Who's not rooting for him? He's one of the only athletes I can think about that nobody hates. Everybody loves the guy. I truly think everybody is starting to realize that we are watching the greatest of all time. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, to have the legitimate discussion of who is the greatest to ever exist in the sport, I do believe there is longevity involved. But when it comes to who's the greatest player that ever played in baseball, that answer is, it's Shohei. It is so clearly Shohei. Listen to this statistic. The most home runs hit in a season where a pitcher also threw a complete game shutout. You need to go back to Wes Ferrell in 1931, who hit 9 homers. Then in 1918, Babe Ruth hit 11 homers while also throwing a shutout. And now in 2023, Shohei throws his shutout and has 36 home runs, and will surely get that number to be a lot higher. You know, you run out of room, you run out of words to describe what we're seeing. I do feel comfortable in saying this is the greatest of all time, and today was just another check mark on the list for him. Though it didn't come without a little scare early in the game. He had to cover first on a ground ball, ends up covering first, and there's a bit of a collision at first base. And we were filming today's episode, actually, the Thursday episode of Flippin Bats, while we were watching the game, and it did look like he was injured, and holds his arm, shakes his hand, then waves off everybody and says he's okay, goes on to throw a complete game shutout. But I mean, I think every baseball fan in the world had to hold their collective breath there for a second and make sure he was okay. I don't think there was anybody that was not concerned there in that second. But his ERA on the year now down to 3.43 on the season. His OPS now 1.053 on the season. I mean, guys, just listen to that. His ERA is 3.4. His OPS is over 1,000. Nobody's done what he's doing. Nobody, not even Babe Ruth. You want to make the Babe Ruth comparisons? Great. I get it. They both pitch. They both hit. Babe Ruth was facing guys throwing 70-mile-an-hour lollipops. Shohei's facing guys throwing 100 while also pitching against guys that are the best hitters in the world. It's unbelievable. I get the comparisons because nobody's done what the two of them have done, but nobody's doing what Shohei has done. Nobody in history has done what Shohei Ohtani is currently doing. Just a remarkable performance on the mound. 111 pitches, 8 strikeouts, only 1 hit allowed. Did walk 3 batters in there, but to throw 9 innings on 111 pitches, just efficient. It was an efficient masterpiece and the best performance of Shohei's career. You could tell from, honestly, the first inning. When Shohei's dialed in early on, it's pretty much typically going to be a dominant performance from him, because the only problems that you ever see him get in is when he starts a game and is struggling to start and struggling to find his command. From the very beginning of this game, he was locked in, and I had a friend text me saying Shohei is going to throw a no-hitter, and I was furious. I was pissed off at him. I said, why would you ever say that? But it turns out he was as locked in as it seemed, and honestly, he probably would have thrown a no-hitter if it wasn't for my friend that said that, so we'll blame him. But 9 innings, 111 pitches, 8 strikeouts, and only 1 hit on the day. This all comes, my friends, at a time where he was dealing with a lot of trade speculation. There's a lot of talk about where he was going to end up, where he's going to end up next year. Well, all that got put to rest literally last night. The Angels come out and say Shohei is off the trade block. He is not being traded. And then they go out and prove that. They prove that they are buyers. Adding Lucas Giolito, adding Reynaldo Lopez. I do believe they will add quite a bit more before this deadline, because they are buyers, and they're only 3.5 games now out of a wild card spot behind the Toronto Blue Jays, who, guess what? They start a series with tomorrow. Friday, a massive series against the Blue Jays starts, and guess who's on the mound? The new acquisition, Lucas Giolito there. The Angels are buyers. They're 53-49 now, and certainly within reach of a playoff spot. You can't blame them. It is risky to go for it, but you can't blame them. And their GM, after the GM today said, I never went up to Shohei and said, hey, we're not trading you. I just think I made it pretty clear. I don't know the last time we talked. I said he wasn't going anywhere. I don't know if anybody believed me. I don't think it's somebody who we wanted to move. This is a special player having a unique season with a team that has a chance to win. To me, that's grounds for trying to improve the club. Whether it works or it doesn't, I can go to bed at night and say, you know what? We did this for the right reasons. We're giving ourselves a chance, and I'm excited to see how we play. I said it on the Thursday episode, on today's episode of Flippin Bats. I respect it. I really do. Could it all come crashing and burning and you end up with nothing for the greatest player we've ever seen? Sure, it could. But guess what? You have him right now. And you have a chance to get to the playoffs right now. A huge chance? No, the odds are against them, but a chance nonetheless. And if I have that, and if I know my odds of keeping Shohei are better if we can prove that we are in it for the right reasons and want to get to the playoffs, then why wouldn't you do it? So I absolutely get it. And then afterwards, Shohei had some good quotes after the game today about all of this situation, about the game, about the trade deadline, and about his future with the Angels. And I thought all of those quotes ended up being very interesting. But he did say to the media that he's happy the Angels are buyers after all these years of being sellers. And he said, this is from Shohei, from the beginning, my plan was to finish the season with the Angels. Nothing is really going to change mentally, but all the people talking about the trade, that's going to be all gone. I feel like I'll just be able to focus on taking this team to the playoffs, which is a great quote. He also said, I think this is the first time in my 6 years that we've been buyers. We've been sellers the last 5 years. So this is new to me. I just want to get to know the new guys and welcome them in and compete all together, which is another great quote. Of course, he's worried about the new guys and wanting to make them feel welcome there. But some of the best quotes that I heard from them after the game today, these all just happened. Shohei was just saying this. Until last year, the team situation, we had to be sellers. Perry, the GM, was doing his job. Now we're in a different situation. I think we're making acquisitions to try and get us better and get us over that hump. I think us as players, we've just got to do our jobs. And then in terms of his future with the Angels, this is big stuff here from Shohei. They asked about his future going forward with the Angels. Shohei just said, in season, I don't really like to think about the long-term stuff. Just focus on this season and every game that's in front of me. Obviously, I've been with the Angels my whole career here. I love the fans. I love the team. No complaints. I'll say it again. This Angels team, post All-Star break, went on a win streak. They swept the Yankees. They've played good baseball. They've gotten themselves in position to be buyers. And buyers they are. And this was the analogy I made earlier today. When you're just handed the keys, imagine yourself handed the keys to the nicest car that has ever existed. Do you really want to trade that in early for something that you know isn't going to be as nice? Or do you want to ride it out as long as you possibly can and hope that you can scratch and claw for a chance at keeping him for the long term? Of course, that's what you do if you're the owner and you're the GM of the team. And I do believe, the more and more I think about it, I do believe there is a chance that Shohei stays in Anaheim and stays with the Angels. They're proving to him right in front of his eyes that they are all in, that they are buyers, that they will do whatever it takes to win. Will they do it this year? I don't know. But you have to respect them going for it in their last few months with the greatest player we have ever seen. And that's exactly what we are watching. We are watching right now the guy that threw a complete game one hitter today, the guy that is leading all of Major League Baseball in home runs and in triples and in slugging percentage and in OPS and in batting average against. We are watching the greatest baseball player that has ever played the game. And the Angels are all in on going for it with him. And why not? You're going to get Mike Trout back, one of the greatest as well, one of the greatest of all time as well. You're going to get, I just saw Logan O'Hoppe potentially coming back. You're going to get Zach Neto back. You're going to get Brandon Drury back. They're going for it, and you respect it. And you respect it because Shohei is the greatest to ever exist. And you got a chance now, and they're taking that chance and going all in. And as Perry Manashian said, the GM, I can sleep at night knowing we went for it. Whether it works or whether we don't, I can sleep at night knowing we at least tried. What a day. What a performance from Shohei. A performance that had to have its own emergency podcast because you got the greatest of all time having one of the best performances of the season and the best performance on the mound of his entire Major League Baseball career. So that does it for this emergency Flippin Bats podcast. Until tomorrow, my friends, this has been another episode of Flippin Bats. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast. We're also on all social media. What a day. What a performance. Go Shohei Ohtani. That was awesome. Congrats to him on his performance. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, my friends. Peace.